Have you noticed that simple things don't feel enjoyable anymore? Talking to people, studying, reading a book, going for a walk, even relaxing. Everything feels boring compared to a screen. And the worst part is, this didn't happen by accident. There's a reason your brain lost its focus, motivation, and ability to feel satisfied by small things. It's not laziness. It's not a lack of discipline. Your brain was trained to live addicted to fast rewards. And today, you're going to understand exactly how to take back control. Imagine waking up tired even after sleeping, opening your phone without thinking, spending hours scrolling short videos, feeling anxious when you're away from the internet, trying to focus and failing within minutes. Millions of people live like this without realizing they're trapped inside an invisible cycle that changes the way the brain searches for pleasure, motivation, and reward. The problem is that the more stimulation you consume, the harder it becomes to feel happiness from normal life. And that's exactly what's silently destroying your mental energy. You were not born without focus. Your brain was conditioned. Every time you receive fast stimulation, short-form videos, notifications, ultra-processed food, pornography, gaming, digital validation, your brain releases chemical signals connected to reward. The problem starts when this happens constantly. Slowly, normal activities begin to feel slow, dull, and exhausting. Reading becomes hard. Working feels painful. Conversations require effort. Even happy moments lose intensity. Your brain starts needing higher and higher levels of stimulation just to feel something. It's like turning the volume up every single day until you can no longer hear the quiet sounds of real life. A behavioral researcher explained it in a simple way. When the brain receives instant pleasure all the time, it recalibrates its reward system. That means what used to feel satisfying no longer works. And that's exactly why so many people feel emotionally empty, even while surrounded by endless entertainment. Too much instant pleasure doesn't increase happiness. It reduces your ability to feel it. And the most dangerous part? Most people think this is normal. What's truly terrifying about this cycle is that it doesn't destroy your motivation all at once. It happens slowly. First, you lose patience for anything that takes time. Then you start craving distraction constantly. After that comes the strange feeling of restlessness. You grab your phone for no reason. Open apps automatically. Jump from video to video without finishing any of them. Your mind can no longer stay in silence because it has been trained to expect instant rewards every few seconds. And the more this happens, the harder it becomes to regain control of your own attention. The human brain was never designed to live surrounded by infinite stimulation. In the past, reward came from effort, movement, learning, real human connection, and meaningful challenges. Today, someone can receive more stimulation in one night of scrolling than people once experienced in weeks of real life. The result shows up quietly: anxiety, procrastination, mental fatigue, lack of concentration, and the constant feeling that nothing is ever enough anymore. And maybe you've already noticed this in your own life. You decide to change. You say you're going to focus. You promise yourself you'll stop wasting time. But after a few hours, you fall back into the same cycle again. Not because you're weak, but because your brain learned to depend on fast rewards. It's literally a chemical battle happening inside your mind every single day. That's exactly why so many people started using dopamine reset protocols, reducing artificial stimulation to help the brain recover its natural sensitivity again. In fact, some people who started following the 21-day dopamine reset protocol reported feeling more mental clarity, better focus, and greater control over digital impulses after just a few weeks. The program was designed to make this mental reset simple and practical for everyday life. And because the goal here is to genuinely help people break free from this cycle, it's available with a special price for subscribers of the channel. You'll find access in the pinned comment. Now pay close attention, because this might be the most important part of the entire video. When you reduce fast stimulation for a period of time, something strange begins to happen. Your brain slowly starts enjoying normal things again. Walks feel lighter, conversations become more interesting. Your mind slows down, focus improves, and you begin recovering something you may have forgotten what it even feels like to experience: presence. And before we continue, I want to ask you something different. I want you to comment which habit has stolen most of your attention lately. Your phone? Short videos? Gaming? Social media? I genuinely want to read it, because sometimes people recognize their own problem for the first time the moment they put it into words. There's a very specific moment when most people realize they've lost control. It doesn't happen during some huge breakdown. It happens in small details. When you try to watch something important and grab your phone within 3 minutes. When you can't finish a simple task without looking for distraction. When silence starts feeling uncomfortable. When resting without stimulation feels impossible. That's when you realize the brain stopped searching for depth and started chasing novelty instead. And that's where people fall into a dangerous cycle without noticing it. The more fast stimulation you consume, the less motivation you feel to build anything real. Long-term projects start feeling exhausting. Goals seem far away. The brain begins preferring immediate rewards because they require less effort and deliver instant pleasure. The problem is that the pleasure doesn't last. After it fades, emptiness shows up again. And to escape that emptiness, people search for even more stimulation. More videos, more notifications, more distractions. It's like running on a mental treadmill without ever moving forward. One expert compared this to someone listening to extremely loud music all day long. After a while, normal sounds become too weak to notice. That's exactly what happens with dopamine. The brain becomes so used to artificial highs that everyday life loses emotional intensity. And maybe that's why so many people today feel mentally exhausted all the time, even without doing physically demanding work. But here's the interesting part. The brain can rebuild itself too. When you begin reducing excessive stimulation, your mind enters a gradual recalibration process. The first days can feel uncomfortable, boring, anxious, restless. That happens because your brain became dependent on constant reward overload. But after some time, something changes. Your focus starts returning. The urge to constantly check your phone gets weaker. You become more present during conversations. Small achievements begin feeling genuinely satisfying again. And maybe the biggest sign of recovery is this. You stop feeling the need to escape reality all the time. Because deep down, the real problem was never just a lack of discipline. It was overstimulation taking over every empty space inside your mind. Maybe the most dangerous thing about dopamine destruction is that it rarely looks dangerous in the beginning. It feels like entertainment, relaxation, fun, a quick break. But little by little, those tiny rewards start taking up too much space in your mind. And before you realize it, what used to be a habit becomes a constant necessity. You wake up looking for stimulation, work looking for stimulation, rest looking for stimulation. Your brain no longer knows how to exist without distraction. And the impact goes far beyond productivity. It affects your ability to feel excited about life itself, because motivation doesn't come only from willpower. It depends on how your brain perceives reward. When everything around you delivers instant pleasure, effort begins to feel like suffering. But the best things in life require the opposite: presence, patience, time, and consistency. Real relationships, deep learning, mental health, emotional clarity. None of these things can compete with instant stimulation. And that's exactly why so many people feel emotionally drained despite living surrounded by endless entertainment. But there's good news in all of this. The human brain is adaptable. It can recover balance. It can relearn how to enjoy simple things. It can rebuild focus, presence, and motivation. But that requires a decision most people avoid making. Reducing the overload of stimulation consuming your mind every day. Because at the end of the day, recovering your dopamine doesn't mean living without pleasure. It means learning how to enjoy real life again. And maybe today was the first time in a long time that you realized you were never simply unmotivated. Maybe your mind was overloaded without you even noticing it. And if this video helped you see things differently, subscribe to the channel because from now on, I want to create content that genuinely helps you regain control over your attention, your mind, and your mental energy in a world designed to distract you every second. And there's one more thing I'd love for you to do. Share your experience in the comments. Which part of this video hit you the hardest? What did you realize about your own habits? And if you're currently trying to rebuild your focus and mental clarity, tell your story. Because sometimes someone reading your comment might realize they're not alone in this silent struggle against modern overstimulation.